Hi, I'm Beatrice Go and welcome to Rappler Talk. Today we are here with the only woman taking up the head coach post in UAP Volleyball. In season 79, she formally became the head coach of the Adamson Lady Falcons, and now in season 80, we are midway through the season and she has already steered the Lady Falcons to their fifth win yesterday from their one-win record last year. So let us welcome Miss Airess Padda. Hi, Coach Air. So thank you for joining us in celebration of Women's Month. And we are actually going to go beyond the press con, the post-game press con talks, and we're going to go delve deeper into the issues regarding women, especially in Philippine volleyball. So how does it feel until now that you're the only woman head coach in UAP volleyball? So that includes men's and women's volleyball.
I don't know. It's an honor, actually. I know it was upon coming to the Philippines. In the volleyball world, I wasn't really exposed to seeing a lot of female coaches. So when I took this job and they told me I would be the only, I don't know if it's not first ever, but I know in the last few years there hasn't been a woman coach, and not just me. When I came in, I had an all-female staff, and I still have those women with me, and I just feel like I have such a responsibility to women to not just to win, but to make an impact on the UAAP community. So it excites me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and you mentioned that your coaching staff is also predominantly female.
Yeah.
So how does that help your players, like, compared to the other teams?
Well, I think first off, as a young athlete myself, having women and male coaches, I feel like there's certain advantages you have when you have a woman coach. I feel like there's a certain connection, player-coach connection that you share with them, and you can understand them a little bit more because, you know, I once was a young girl too, playing in college, and there's a lot of benefits to it. There's some cons. You know, we're women, so we bump heads a little bit, but all in all, I think it's healthy. It's been a healthier relationship, and way more inspirational for the women, for the young women that we coach, to see that they have strong women to look up to, leading them.
Yeah, can you talk about that relationship with your players, like with your team captain, Gemma?
Yeah, you know, I think it's funny, when I got here, in my first year, my team was a little bit resistant to my coaching because I don't think that they were ever used to seeing a woman of power, and a woman of power that was confident and had the same commanding presence as a male coach. And I think the way that they looked at me before, they didn't know how to look at me as a powerful person and accept that. It was like, it was just so foreign to them. And I think they were expecting me to collapse. They were expecting me to act like a girl. I know that sounds crazy, but that was the battles that I had to face the first year. And once I convinced them that this is who I am, and this is okay to be this way. It's okay to be strong. It's okay to be a woman. You can be strong, and you can be dainty, and you can be, you know, moody at times, but it's not a bad thing, you know. And there's so much power that women possess in this world that I feel like they don't know about. And so on an everyday basis, me, myself, and the coaches, I think we try to be an example of who they can be and what they can do with their lives and the type of voice that they have. And I think by doing that, it's really helped our player-coach connection. I feel so much more closer to my team now. They're like a family to me, and it's just, I don't know, it's doing something for our team. Although we've experienced a lot of adversity this season, but we haven't broken. And I think because we haven't broken, that's the foundation that we decided to set for our team, is the reason why we're still strong and we're still pushing.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, so at one point, did you see that the players have finally entrusted everything to you? Because you said that it took a long time, and maybe a part of that is maybe that's why you're season ended last year with just one win, right?
Yeah. I'd say, you know, it's been a battle. It still is a battle, but the weight is lesser now. I think it took me about a year and a half. It wasn't until maybe this past, maybe like October, November, December, where like something finally clicked in them. And leaving my first season, I got to go home right away, and I was home for a month, and I was so homesick. And I was like happy that I wasn't in Manila, and a part of me didn't even want to come back because I felt like I was a failure as a coach. That season was the hardest season for me ever as a coach or a player because I've never had a losing season like that, and I felt like it was my fault. And when I went home, I was trying to blame other things for why I couldn't succeed. And then I started to think about it, like if I'm going to be this female coach who these young ladies are supposed to look up to for strength and inspiration, then I got to eat my own words. I can't say something to them and expect them to do it, and then I go home and I'm thinking these negative thoughts. And so when I was home, I tried to think of a game plan of like, what am I going to do when I get back to Manila? How can I make the situation better? What do I have to do in order to make the girls feel more comfortable? And there's this quote by Dr. Seuss that I love. It's nobody cares about how much you know until they know about how much you care. And I really was like, there's something that I wasn't doing. So when I got back, I decided to make a better effort to learn the language, which I think has really helped my connection with them because I'm not fluent in the language, but they see me making an effort and they see me trying, and I hired a teacher, and I think it made them feel so much closer because they know that I care about them. And I just really dove in without having any regrets. I completely surrounded myself around people who are gonna lift me up, and I just really had to have a stronger mindset. I felt like my first year, my mindset wasn't as strong as it could be, and I know I can be stronger. So that's what I did, and we do more bonding. I spend way more time with them, and they look at me, they come to me and talk to me now if they ever have problems, and I just make myself available. I'm a coach. They know that. I'm not a friend, I'm a coach. I don't cross that line, but they also know that I care about them almost like a mom. So if they ever needed anything, that I'm here for them, and they know that now.
Yeah, so I'm glad that the environment of the Adamson Lady Falcons like this, maybe that's why it also translated to like the 5 wins compared to the just 1 win last season. But then aside from that situation, were you ever intimidated or criticized for being a woman coach?
Oh, for sure. I thought coming in my first year, just coming into the Philippines, coming into UAAP, where there is no female coaches, I don't think females are looked at as being strong. And when you're in a country where the coaches are predominantly men, you get the idea that I felt that they weren't going to listen to me because I was a woman, and I didn't have that. I didn't have the presence that, or the respect that men are given in the sport, and that itself is intimidating because I didn't know how I was going to earn their respect. I didn't feel like, it was like whatever I do, they're not going to care because I'm not a man. My voice isn't hard. My voice, when I yell at them, it doesn't sound like a man. You know, it's not scary. So I was torn between what I was going to do to get their respect, but you know, I had to earn it. And I think the road for me has been harder because nothing is given to me. Everything I have to earn. I'm young, I'm foreign, and I'm a female. And I think in this country, it makes the road that much harder. But it's nothing that I can't handle.
Yeah, that's true. I congratulate you for that. It seems really hard. And in speaking about your connection with your players, so you were born and raised in Stockton, California, and you also juggled different sports aside from volleyball, and then you went into modeling. So comparing the Filipino athletes you see today, especially those who are women, how was it like being an athlete in the U.S.?
competitive talaga.
Talaga?
Yeah, talaga. At a very, very early age, you are taught to compete. And if you don't compete, you don't make it. If you don't go out there and earn your minutes, you're not guaranteed anything. And it's about hard work. And even if, like, at a very early age, of course, you know, for boys, for instance, their dream is to go to the NFL and NBA, Major League Baseball, you know. For women, it's not like that. If you're playing a sport, to go pro is going to be very hard for you, but you don't have a different work ethic versus the kid who knows he's going to make it pro, and you yourself. It's almost like you got to work harder than him because you're not blessed with the athletic ability or the height or, you know, the money or to get private training. It's very competitive, and the coaching is very tough. We don't, I've never had a coach who wasn't extremely hard on me. I'm used to it. So when I'm not getting that hard coaching, it's like something's missing. I'm like, what's going on? But for here, the athletes, I don't think they're taught to be competitive at a very early age, especially the women. I think especially in volleyball, the grassroots program is non-existent here. So when you're getting these athletes and you're introducing them to volleyball, they're already like 13, 14 years old, versus in the States, you can start playing as early as 5. And by the time you're 10, you have all the skills down, basics. Not only that, you have a mindset that's already been implanted in you to be strong. And I think that when you get to this level, that is super important. That separates the good from great, is having that mindset.
So, but in terms of like treatment of coaches towards women, is there anything different also? Do you have any stories about it?
About being coached?
Yeah, about being coached.
By a woman?
Yeah.
I can tell you a story about, there's one coach in particular that has really inspired me so much. It was my basketball coach in high school, Coach Cynthia Phipps. I think she was one of the first real examples of what like a badass superwoman looked like to me. She came into my high school, and I remember she came in my sophomore year, and she completely turned our program around. And she was just like this. She wasn't a friend. She was a coach first, but she always made herself available to us. She always let us know that like how powerful we are and how strong we are, and never let anyone disrespect you on or off the court. You have a responsibility to your team, to yourself. You know, she inspired me so much, and she was so hard. The training that she put us through was a lot. It was a lot, and she never abused us though. There's a line you have to draw between when you're coaching tough and when you're doing way too much. You're pushing the line, and she never did that with us. And I remember for lunch, we always wanted to eat in her classroom and just hang out. And I don't know, she really had an impact on me. And I wasn't able to tell her that back then. She was my coach all through high school. When it came time to choose between volleyball and basketball, she never made me feel bad about not choosing basketball. She was happy for me, but she was like an ate coach for me. And I see a lot of myself in her now. I see a lot of her in me as I coach today. And I actually shared this story with my team and to Guy Tag. I like cried and everything, but I wanted them to understand where I pulled some of my inspiration from. And it was a woman, a black woman, a female woman who did it for me. And one thing that stuck out for me about hers was she was a lesbian. And at the time, when I was growing up in high school, there wasn't a lot of females that were out about their sexuality. Even in high school, they were all scared to come out. And she was a teacher and an athletic director and a high school coach she didn't care what anyone had to say about her. And that's really brave for somebody to do. So she inspired me so much, and that's why I guess it's part of the reason why I'm here today doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
And then Adamson, I know that your softball program's really good. So have you met the coaches? Because I know that the coaches in softball, they also have female coaching staff.
I've only briefly met them. Our schedules at Adamson, we don't really pass the time frame that I'm there. They're not, and so we haven't really had the chance to sit down and talk. But they inspire us. That softball team is, I mean, it's a really good time to be a Falcon right now. Mm-hmm. Not just with the softball team, but with the baseball team that just won, and our pep squad that just won, and our basketball team that did Final Four again this year. It's just the atmosphere on the campus right now is so infectious, and I don't know. I'm so blessed that Adamson chose me to be leading this team. We're really hoping we can keep this up and get us to a Final Four.
Yeah, all the best for the season, because you're lifting Adamson from back-to-back 7th place finishes in season 77 and 78. That's what I remember. And then in terms of volleyball in the Philippines, there's actually a stigma that volleyball is just a sport for women, because I had friends who were like men, but then they always have to think twice before going into volleyball, because it's different.
Well, I think the platform that it gives women's volleyball here is on another level than versus the men's. I think it gets more of a bigger following, and so believe it or not, it's like that in the States too. Mm-hmm. Women's volleyball is more popular than men's, because my personal opinion is, when you go to a guy's game, it's exciting because guys are more athletic and they can hit harder and they can do more. They can physically do more than girls. But a lot of the guys' games go as follows: serve, spike, kill, serve, spike, block. There's not a lot of rallies, and I think with women's volleyball, we tend to focus on more defense. So the excitement that you come when you watch our games is all from the rallies and the defense and these amazing plays that the girls are making, and the crowd is so into it. But I wish that would change, because volleyball is a sport, period, male or female. And I think for guys, it should be something that little boys look up to. They should be able to want to go to college and play, men's volleyball. I don't know how to fix the problem, but I wish that would change a little bit, because you shouldn't have to question if you want to go into a sport just because you don't think it's gonna be popular.
Yeah. And at the same time, volleyball is increasing in popularity. So here in the Philippines also, compared, because we know that basketball has always been there in the history of the Philippines.
Basketball's life.
Yes, ball is life, but that could be volleyball too.
It is. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at my tattoo.
Oh, when did you get that?
I got this in Coron back in December. So it's like a lifeline, and it's got a volleyball in the middle.
Oh my gosh, that
Get
is
it?
so
Ball
cool.
is life.
I'm so amazed. I didn't notice that ever, because when you go to
it's covered.
Yeah, it's always covered.
Yeah.
So yes, volleyball is increasing in popularity in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So how could this empower women?
It's just, I'm so happy that volleyball doesn't stop with just UAAP. I'm happy that there's PSL and PVL, because we get the opportunity to have imports come in. And I know a lot of my girls look at those girls like they're like super women, because the imports are, they're foreign, they're stronger, they're taller, they're more athletic, and it just raises the level of the local play. But volleyball is something that, like little girls now can look, and they can watch it on TV, and they could want to be just like, an Eliza Valdez, or or a Kim D, or Gemma Galanza. They see these girls and they're like, I want to be her. And they use that for inspiration. And I know there was a time that they couldn't do that here. And there's not a lot of big female sports out here. In the States, I think growing up, for me personally, in the neighborhood that I grew up in, volleyball wasn't really an option. It was basketball, it was track, softball, maybe a little bit of softball, but that's it. But if I was growing up in the Philippines as a little girl and I watched volleyball on TV, I would want to be just like those girls. It would drive me to want to do good in school. It would drive me to want to learn the discipline and the mindset. It would drive me to want to make it to college. I mean, it's so empowering for a little girl to be able to look at that and have it inspire her at 5 years old. And it's like, that's the future. That's the future for women here. Those are the girls that are going to run the country one day. Those are the women who are going to pave the way for other young girls. And to be able to be a part of it just makes me feel so proud. I'm so happy. Yeah.
And in 2014, you said that you told me a while ago that you came to the Philippines for the first time to do a volleyball clinic for rising stars.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned that you want little girls to look up to these PSL players, was that the same feel you got in that clinic?
I did, totally. So here's how the camp went. It was in the morning from 9 to 12, or 8 to 12, we would do high school and lower. So that's where I did get some girls who were like 12, 13, 14. And then in the afternoon, that would be the session for college and pro. But in the camp itself, the impact that I got, what impacted me the most and what I was drawn to the most was the younger age group, because the way that they looked at me and the way that they were so amazed at how they got better in just 3 days. And they saw a difference in like I don't know if it had something to do with me as a woman, but maybe what a coach doing, just paying attention to them and giving them direction and saying like, naniniwala ako sayo, like, it's like they just were so, I don't know, they had like stars in their eyes. And I think that they were inspired. A lot of those girls are now first-year college players, the ones who attended the camp. And it was, I don't know, it's that you got to pay attention to the future. And I think as a woman in the Philippines, in any job you do, volleyball has just been my vehicle that God's blessed me with to inspire women, but women all over the place, whatever work area you're in, you have the power and the ability to change other women's lives, whether you know it or not. And you do it every day and you don't even try. And it's just, what if we all had a mindset to try to do it, to want to be better, to want to make a connection with another woman, to want to be an inspiration to other women in this country. I think it's really powerful. Yeah.
So who should Filipinos see as inspirations in sports or any other fields?
Who?
Yeah.
I think to answer that question, I would just say, if you see another woman and she makes you feel something good about yourself, that's an inspiring woman. Anytime a woman wants to makes you stronger or makes you think about things, when you second guess your thoughts because of something someone said. There's so many avenues in the Philippines. Like I'll point one out as the pageant world out here is really big. And I'm not gonna lie, when I came here, I was so biased. I was like, how can people look up to beauty queens? Like, I'm being honest. I'm like, they don't do anything. All they do is they look pretty and they make other girls feel like they have to look like them, and they don't, and I don't think it's fair. And then my assistant coach, one of my old assistant coaches, Michelle Gumabao, entered into Bini Bini this year, and I started following her and listening to the things that she was saying, and it made total sense to me why a little girl would look up to somebody like her, because of her journey. A lot of these beauty queens, they don't just grow up beauty queens. Beauty queen pageantry out here is a sport. and it's taken very serious. And I know just listening to her how much she had to work to get any success she had, not just in sports, but in Beanie Beanie, and to see her come out with a crown, it just, I don't know, it changed my mind. And so, again, there's so many different women you can look up to here in the Philippines. There's so many different fields. Just, you just got to open your eyes and your ears like I did and really see these women for who they really are and not just what you think about them.
Did you give any advice to Michelle Gumabao, since you were also a professional model?
No, oh gosh, that girl's beautiful. Even back when she played for LaSalle, I was looking up some of her stuff, and she's still so stunning. But no, I haven't had a chance to connect with her because she's been so busy. Mm-hmm. The last time I spoke to her is when she actually made it into the final Beanie Beanie, what is it, top 20 or top
15, I think.
Or no, before the big pageant. So that was the last time, and she's just been so busy. But she knows I'm proud of her. She knows Adamson's so proud of her. She could probably teach me a thing or two now.
And then, okay, so we're going to, there's someone who wants to ask about what is the best and most shocking thing you've learned about the Adamsonian community and the Philippines.
The most shocking? I think I'll say for starters, the most shocking has been, I guess it's both shocking and a good thing. I never thought that I would get the support that I get at that school. I don't know, the message, the fans and the supporters the messages that they send me sometimes they make you want to cry, because I think they're getting more than just volleyball from me. A lot of people are looking up to me as for a sense of hope, and inspiration, and a lot of people are like, you inspired me to do this and that. And I don't know, for the Adamson community, I've never had that before. This has been my first experience having that impact on people and getting so much school support as a coach. In college, we got it as players, but I felt like we deserved it because we're the ones playing out there. And when I think of like the coaches, for me, the coach on the team, I shouldn't get any praise because, they're the team is the one doing the work. But the fans remind me every day that, no, it's because of you, and it feels really good. Mm-hmm. It feels good. What's shocking? Oh, the shocking part is just as much as they love you, the second that you do something to tick them off, that they will definitely let you know, and they are not scared.
Welcome to the Philippine volleyball fans.
The Philippine volleyball fans, yes, they are not scared. They do not hold their tongue. And it's like a part of me, I'll get mad at it every now and then, but it's like, it comes with the job. And I guess who would they be if they didn't? That's where their passion is. It's like when you're passionate, you get the good stuff, but you also get the bad stuff. You're passionately happy about something, and then you're passionately angry about something. So, yeah.
Someone also wanted to say that as a Adamsonian alum, can I say I feel like Coach Air is a breath of fresh air for us fans. We always see her in such a positive mood. She looks very encouraging and hopeful. Her talking Tagalog is in my mood. Bawe! They love it when you say bawe.
Oh, bawe tayo. Yeah. Aw, see, stuff like that is like, I don't know, you can't put a price on that stuff. It's like when I'm old, when I get older, when these fans get older, when these girls get older, they're not going to remember everything that I said. They're not even going to remember everything that I did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And it just, I don't know. I'm a gushy person for stuff like that. I used to be really tough and hard. I think I'm just, the older I get, I'm turning into a mush ball.
So you get kilig?
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Kilig.
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 K-I-L-I-G.
Okay, kilig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kilig talaga.
Yeah, that's the gushy feeling.
Yeah, kilig. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that will be all for our Raptor Talk. So this is Coach Airess Padda from the Adamson Lady Falcons, and she talked about women empowerment today in the sport of volleyball and her experience as a foreign head coach. Okay, this is Beaches Go. Thank you for tuning in.